Looks like I'm back in the kitchen. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is a variety channel which covers a number of different topics, and today we're back in my kitchen after a long time being away, and we're going to be cooking with a serial killer. First, I just wanted to say I don't know how my lighting is going to be. It has been at least a year, I think, since I cooked in here, or I've done any shooting in here. I was expecting the next cooking video that I did to be in my new kitchen next year or this fall. I don't get a new kitchen for the foreseeable future. Just to catch you up real quick, if you haven't been here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I was supposed to be building my new house this year, but due to a number of economic conditions in the United States, that project has been put on hold. If you want to know more about those two things, there are two videos. The last two of the three videos I did were regarding this house project. It has been a while since I've been back in the kitchen, and today we're going to be cooking with a serial killer. Her recipes from Dorothea Puente. I had this book in my book cart for a really long time, and just this past spring I decided to pull the trigger on buying it, and I thought it would be cool to pick out a recipe from inside this book. And so as soon as I got it, I started looking through it, and there's some recipes that I might be interested in here. It's interesting. I had never even heard of this woman before. It came up in one of my book recommendations, and I've never had a cookbook by a serial killer before, so I thought it'd be really cool to check it out, given that I love cookbooks and cooking. So I read through it, I looked through all these recipes, and I just wanted to point out a couple things to you. And if you don't know, first of all, if you don't know who this woman is, she was the 1980s serial killer known as the Death House Landlady, who was indicted on 9 murders and convicted of 6, who died in 2011 in incarceration at the Central California Women's Correctional Facility. She used to take in ex-convicts and labor workers, and by all accounts treated them well until she did.
She was just an elderly woman who took in those in need of care, a landlady who many entrusted with their well-being. She provided them with a place to stay, but it would cost more than anyone was prepared to pay.
Served life sentences for 3 out of 9 murders. She was arrested for murdering people who stayed in her boarding house and stealing their Social Security checks. I think she maintained her innocence to the very end. The last portion of this book actually has an interview with her, with the person who wrote this book. And honestly, I didn't even think to look into the author of this book until I was reading this interview, and I had some thoughts about how some of the transcripts ended abruptly, the way the person was talking to her and the way she was talking to him. And so I looked it up, and it turns out that this gentleman has a sordid history in a number of different ways. A former KKK member. He's into a lot of serial killer stuff. He's also one of the original founders of the Church of Satan. And that's all I'll say about him. There's plenty of information if you want to go and look. I think he also has a YouTube video, so if you want to see some of his content. I did not spend much time past like his Wikipedia page and then sort of bouncing around a bit, but because I'm just here to talk about this woman, I won't get into like what I know about her past or anything. I will say that the house that she was living in, where she was boarding the people, like apparently her nephew owned it and lived there, and so far I could not find any information as to if he was questioned about the dead bodies found in the backyard or not. Sprinkled throughout here are some things that she had said in her interviews with Shane Bugbee, the author of this book. The first one that I came across was, "I love my people too much. Why would I spend money fattening them up if I was going to kill them?" If you want to know why I kind of compared it to a 70s cookbook, you need only look at some of the recipes inside of it, not just in the ingredients that they use, but if you go to the soups and salads section, the only thing by way of salad is a fruit salad that's got mayonnaise in it, a shrimp macaroni salad that has sandwich spread in it, which is basically mayonnaise, sweet pea salad, which also has mayonnaise in it, and that's it. That's it for salads. Anyway, so I was looking through here. There's not a lot that I found interesting as far as recipes, but Dorothea's green bean salad I found interesting because on the opposite page, her blurb about this recipe is, I made this up too many years ago. I was 16 and married, and we were having such a time eating. Keep your money in the house. It's a very filling, protein-filled meal. So she's an interesting character with the little bits and pieces that you can find that she says throughout these. I wouldn't say that there are any groundbreaking recipes, or any recipes for that matter, that really stuck out. So I came across a couple recipes that I thought I could make. Mostly I was unable to make some of these because I didn't plan ahead well enough. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been in the kitchen to do a video. One of the two recipes I found was the pumpkin ginger pudding and my mom's honey cookies. And the recipe I decided to go with was pumpkin ginger pudding. So this recipe calls for 2 eggs and 3 egg yolks, 1 1/4 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Now I am out of cream because, like I said, I did not plan well for this project. So I'm going to use 1/2 and 1/2 in replacement of the cream. 1 1/4 cup of milk to reach 1 1/2. 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 cup solid packed pumpkin, 1 teaspoon ginger, 1/2 teaspoon ground nutmeg, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So in a medium bowl, we'll beat the eggs and the yolks and then add the cream, milk, sugar, vanilla, ginger, and nutmeg. After mixing, we'll add the pumpkin and blend it well. Per the recipe, it says to arrange 6 custard cups or ramekins in a large baking pan. I know the recipe said to use 6 ramekins, but I only had 2 right now because, like I said, I had prepared for tearing down my house this month, so a lot of stuff had gotten packed up in the great ringworm outbreak of last winter. And so I'm gonna do some experimentation here. I'm not scared. And then pour mixture evenly into the custard cups. Set in the center of the oven, pour the water into the pan until the water reaches halfway up. Cover with foil. I know that it said I was supposed to put it in the oven first and then put the water in and then cover it, but this is not my first rodeo. Now that will go into the oven for 1 1/2 hours. I'll see you soon. Don't forget to preheat your oven to 325. All right, it's been 1 1/2 hours. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, it looks like it's probably done. I'm gonna go ahead and take a risk with these, and they're thicker, but maybe they got done at the same time. Take a look. I have to be leaving the house in about 1 hour, so I'm gonna leave them out here to cool until I'm ready to leave. You do not ever want to put hot food in the refrigerator. I've got some food safety videos here somewhere on this channel if you want to go take a look at them to find out why. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave them there and I'll come back later and put them in the fridge. All right, so it's been about 1 hour. Take them out of the water. Probably should have taken them out of the water first. My bad. You could have done that and left them on there once they cooled. Dump the water out and then just put them back in. The fridge they go. All right, I'll see you in about 3.5 to 4 hours. So in sort of preparing for this, I watched her interview with the police. The entire thing is available on YouTube. I will put a link in the description to the videos that I watched in preparation for this. And the first thing I did before I read the interview in the back, even before I watched any coverage of her, I watched her interview with the police. And the thing that struck me is that how innocent she actually seemed.
How about John?
No.
Who did the digging back there for you? Who dug all these trenches?
I think John dug some. I tried, but I couldn't.
Arthritis or something?
No, I have a bad heart and I can't lift anything very heavy.
Okay. So John did most of the digging when it needed to be
Well,
done.
not always. I mean, sometimes I had, what do you call it, casual labor?
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a testament to how cunning that she actually was. I don't know that they questioned her nephew who was living downstairs. The other thing, like I said before, that struck me, that made me look into the author, was the transcripts from all the phone calls that he would have with her in prison. And they seemed very strange. They seemed like they would end abruptly. It seemed like she was a bit schemish. I do think that she was guilty, but I also am very curious again about why they never questioned her nephew. But while in prison, she was trying to sell things like her artwork. She wrote poetry, which is included in here. I don't want to say too much about the author because, I mean, he's still alive out there, but it was not the best put together cookbook. There's inconsistent formatting. I don't know. I thought this would just be a really fun way to get back into doing sort of some of my old style content. Okay, it's been several hours and I'm back from my errands, so I'm gonna check out these pumpkin ginger puddings and I'm very excited because I'm very hungry. So I was a little concerned that this one was going to be overcooked compared to this one because of, you know, the volume. So I'm just going to check it out. I'm going to run a knife through it. They look the same. All right, let's take a taste. Okay. Things got moved around when I left. Anyway, let's take a look in the center. It does look like probably didn't cook all the way through there, perhaps. But it did come up to temperature, so it is food safe. No. Ooh, let me try this other one. The taste is, I can't put my finger on it. Also, this is a little watery inside too. You can see inside of there. Okay. No. No, I don't know. I mean, it might be watery because I did substitute the heavy cream with half and half, but that would not account for the taste. It has a lot of sugar in it. I don't know. I'm gonna say that this recipe is a failure. On its head, it seemed like it was promising. There's something wrong with it. Hello, this is Editing with Frankie. I figured out what was wrong with that recipe. There was no salt. Salt is extremely important. Even a small amount of salt would have helped. So that's what was wrong. That's why it tasted so bad and bland. It's really hard to explain what it tasted like. Anyway, don't forget your salt. And if you want to know more about salt, I did an episode in my culinary boot camp series. I'll put a link to that in the description below and at the end of this video. Salt. All right. So that's a failure of a recipe. Cooking with a serial killer. Recipes from Dorothea Puente. Puente? I might revisit this cookbook again in the future. Man, that was just not good. So far, I don't recommend the cookbook. I do recommend watching some of her interview with the police and looking up information if you're into true crime stuff, which I am not, but you might be. Anyway, I gotta go and eat something else and get that taste out of my mouth and figure out how I'm gonna make that more palatable. So that's it. That felt a little rocky. I'm just trying to get my bearings in the kitchen again. I'm gonna work on getting some better lighting because I don't feel like the lighting in here is very good. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks for stopping by and cooking with a serial killer with me. And as always, have a wonderful day.